Hello, Internet. Welcome to Bubblegumshoe, a very merry witchmas. I am joined here today by 4 beautiful people who will be introducing themselves, their pronouns, and a magical spell they would wish they could actually cast in real life. So let's start with Ari.
Okay, unmute. Ari, he, him, and spell. How about spider web? Being able to cast a spider web in real life. That'd be fun.
Sticky, but fun. Haley.
Hi, my name is Haley, and my pronouns are she, they. And the spell that I would cast is definitely Accio mobile phone. When you're lying in bed and you just want to check your messages, you don't want to get up, the struggle is real.
Just between you and me, I use Haley as my Accio spell. Ryan.
I know it's a shocker, but I'm Ryan. I use he, him, and the spell I would cast would be apparating, because all I want to do is teleport. I don't care what I have to do in order to do it. Magic works. Just let me not drive places.
And lucky last.
I'm Tyler, he, him, and Ryan. Damn it, you stole mine. It definitely would be teleport, because while most people want to fly, I'm deathly afraid of heights, so I couldn't possibly do that. Though I think for cool effect, I'd rather be able to shadow walk. So yeah.
Oh, it's how you travel, guys. How you travel in style. Awesome. So Bubblegumshoe is our first game for literally all of us here. It's a game of teen detectives solving mysteries inspired by things like Veronica Mars and Nancy Drew, Famous Five, that sort of fiction. I've done a little bit of sprinkled some magic on it, and now it is got a little bit of more Harry Potter-esque Little Witch Academia skills in there. So that's the game we're playing. We're going to be playing for 2 sessions. You'll all be witches at Heartwing Academy, because I chose the name, therefore it's Heartwing. It's a somewhat like a diverse and mixed magical academy, which has a good reputation, but it's like in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of far for everyone to get there, and you have to dorm there, and there's a diverse mix of people because Heartwing seems mystically like equidistantly far from literally everywhere else in the world. So that's our setting for this 2 session. You're all in your first year. It's probably already a bit halfway through the year, because I want you guys to sort of have had a chance to settle in and sort of know each other a little bit. But definitely it's still your first year of learning this whole magic business. The aim of this game is for all of us to learn how to play this game and just have fun and explore what this magical world is like through, like, you know, when you were like starting high school and you're young and bright-eyed, which we're all not anymore. That sort of tone and feel is kind of where I want to hit it at. So given that this is my first time jamming this session, thank you all for putting up with me in advance. And lastly, what else do I have to say? Oh, we're playing with safety X card. So you can say X or make an X with your hands if there's anything that you want to retcon, stop, recess. And we're playing with the O card. So thumbs up, say, you know, sob tears while doing this, and we know you want us to keep pushing further. So given that, how do we feel about the tone? Do we want to take it, like, I'm imagining 1st and 2nd year Hogwarts as opposed to 6th and 7th year Hogwarts. Yeah, cool. I love Harry Potter because it is so universal in a way. All right, so I see Tyler's claimed a column in the character sheet. please feel free to everyone else do so. And when we're all sort of ready, I'll run you through character creation, which I was kind of a little bit torn about actually, whether I would make pre-gens or make them on screen, but I think it'll be fun to make our characters, and I don't think it'll take too long. So the first thing we have to do when we're making characters is spend points in our different things that we're good at. By the way, if anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in. So the first thing we're going to do is to build our academic skills. So that's that first column of charms, defense, against the dark arts, that sort of column. There, you've got 6 points to spend in any of those. So you want to put them in the rating, and your rating is that's how good you are at it. And then the pool will be the same number as the rating, but you will spend from your pool, whereas your rating will stay the same, and you'll refresh back to your rating at the end of the session. So obviously having 0 is you're bad at it. You're embarrassingly bad at it. Mechanically, it means that you can't make tests in a test in that skill, and having more points in it, you're better at it, that sort of thing. So feel free to assign your 6 points anywhere you want on that. It should, yeah, apparently at the end of it, we should check to make sure that we've got a good spread of skills as well. So do a screen share so people can see sort of what it looks like as well. Yeah. Oops. It's not application window. That's what I want. There you go. So, so you're putting it in the rating, and you've got 6 points there. For the next section, which is the interpersonal section, you've got a little bit more, you've got 9 points to spread out between those. There's quite a few of them. You can hover over the skill themselves, and it sort of tells, try to put in a little bit of description. So if you've got any question about what any of those things are, feel free. Yes, Haley, you can take maximum points in useless skills.
So we've got 9 points to spend in the next section.
Yep, 9 points in interpersonal. I like this being in first year. You're actually pretty bad at most things. There's not a lot of subjects that you've gotten the hang of yet, which is also good because it means you'll have to rely on your friends and contacts to do things that you cannot. So your academic skills replace what's your investigation skills in the regular games. It's sort of what will help you progress further in the mystery and help you get clues to solve the mystery. The interpersonal skills are stuff that you'll be using in social situations and against other NPCs or PCs sometimes, but it's not meant to be a PvP game necessarily. And the last one, because I see some of you have started filling those interpersonal ones. The last one is the general category. You start with 4 free points in cool, and cool is going to be your social hit points. So keeping your cool is going to be very important to stay on top of the social heap. You get 40 points in general. So that's quite a lot. But it allows you to do, I guess, all sorts of things. You can, as part of making that those 40 points in general, take something called a cap ability. And that is one specific, really specific thing that you're really, really good at and is special to you. It costs 5 points to establish your special ability cap ability thing. and that 5 points kind of makes your first point in that skill, and then you can add to that skill as per usual. I think the max is 2 if it's an academic-y type skill or interpersonal skill, or 6 if it's a general type skill. So let me stop that. Yeah, so with those capabilities, if any of you guys have got a good idea of what you want, you can throw it out there, whether it's like you're a superstar at riding a broomstick or something, but like more than just you're really good at it, you also have the Nimbus 2000 or whatever, like the 5 volt, or you know a really specific ritual. It could be anything.
So any of these we start off with 5 points to get it, and then raise it by another point.
Not in the general. In the like athletics, riding, filch, all of that sort of stuff, you put it in as normal. But there's this one space at the bottom of it, of that general category that's just blank. That means you can have 1 capability.
I got it now. Okay.
And you don't have to make that up now. You can save it for the second session if you that might be a better way.
The max you can put into each thing, did you say?
I think there is a max. The only max is only for that capability, but everything else you can. I don't.
And the max for the cap is 6.
6 if it's a general ability, or 2 if it's like an academic or interpersonal.
Gotcha.
Skill.
Mm-hmm. And we can bank these points for later on if we want.
Yep.
All right, I got it.
How many points do I have to spend in each purple box of things? It was 6 for the academic skills.
6 for the academic.
I lost the others.
9 for the interpersonal, and I'm going to say it's social. 9 for the social, and 40 for general, which is like, it seems like a ton to me, but I guess a lot of that is like your cool is your hit points, so I guess you want to sink into that. Yeah, you can start thinking about what kind of character you are based on these ratings as well.
What kind of die are we rolling? Because if it's going to be a D6, that makes me
It's a D6.
make different choices than if it's a D100.
It's a D6. I think when we're setting difficulty, it's usually somewhere between 2 to 8. You're rolling a D6, and you will be spending from your pool to add to that die roll, obviously, to beat the target difficulty level. But that's, if you have to spend. I mean, I guess that's generally how these skills work. The only kind of different one is how gathering clues work, because obviously you don't have that many points, right, in the academic section. You don't actually necessarily spend out those points to get core clues, what they say. If you're in the right place with an ability, with a skill, and you say you're using that skill, then you get the clue. There's no die roll. There's no contest for that. You just get the clue. I might ask you to spend from your pool to get like extra cool stuff and information that adds to that clue, but the core clue that you need to progress the mystery, all you need to do is be in the right place, have the right ability, say you're using it.
Do those 4 points in cool count towards the pool, the total, or are they separate?
No, they were free. They're separate from the 40 you get.
So if I have an ability, I should be picking 35 other points. Is that right? But I only put a 1 in that ability.
This is from Haley, who I just can see he has picked the special ability, great at picking gifts. So I color-coded these these to be different colors based on how good you are at it. But I have like no idea what the threshold of good or not good is, so we'll see as we get more into it. Once we're done with the general, the very last thing we are doing is assigning our relationship points. So I think before we do relationships, it'd be good to get a sense of like where everyone's sort of going with their character. And if you've got a name, feel free to chuck that in. Or a picture would be awesome as well, because I love pictures of characters. I'm really appreciating Haley. Your character is not got a good, particularly large spread of general abilities, and rather quite a lot in several things. Is that Priscilla instead of Priscilla? Are you Priscilla?
Ask me a spelling question.
It's usually spelled with an I, P-R-I. But
Really?
I think so. I might be wrong. But it's magical anyway. I'm surprised there's no X. There's no silent X in your name.
Tyler, your special power is good at cats and other animals. I love it. That's so cute.
I adore you guys because in a lot of the examples in the books are like a special skill in firearms or like martial arts or like scratching things behind their ears.
Yes, I'm Harry Potter, but I took years of Taekwondo and I pack a pistol.
And of course, it's not just animals. Everybody likes a nice scratch behind the ears. I mean, come on.
What excites me is that there's no point in taking a special ability if you're not planning to use it. So I look forward to the scratching behind ears scenes. So Haley, are you do you think you're quite ready with your character more or less? Just the broad.
Yep, I'm just resizing the picture. How do I crop? Can I crop in this? No.
Do we wear a uniform?
Absolutely.
We do wear a uniform. Oh, okay.
need to crop this before. Did you want me to? Was the point of asking that you wanted me to go describe a bit about my character, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Through what you're good at.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm playing Priscilla. Her pronouns are she, her, and she is sort of a specialist in divination, I guess, and charms. And she uses this ability for purely shameless reasons to foretell gossip before it happens, so she's always on the edge with the latest news. And also just generally to get her way. She is perpetually prepared for absolutely anything because she's already seen it coming. But she's not above saying something is going to happen that isn't going to happen either. She likes to keep people on their toes. And she's great at picking gifts because she always knows whether or not somebody will like something.
It's pretty awesome. I like Priscilla. The thing that you get to also pick, actually, we might leave it and we can go through the house, the year, the club, the drive, and the story arc for everyone all together. Is anyone else ready with their character? Just the broad strokes of their character?
I'm still thinking about that special ability, but I have a general sense of the character. So Moffat is sort of a shy, stout fellow with a unibrow, and he grew up really ashamed of this unibrow until he realized that it gives him a magical connection to supernatural creatures. The first creature that he discovered he has this connection with is a cyclops. Cyclopses by default have a unibrow, so that's like his super like power creature. I'm trying to think of a way to connect that, but yeah, I'm going to be dealing with shyness and things like that with this character. Oh, I'm also thinking about like maybe a unicorn because the name uni, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or for no particular reason, a cucumber, a magical cucumber, and maybe Frida Kahlo's portrait. I don't know. I'm playing with these ideas right now.
A particularly fuzzy caterpillar. The possibilities are limitless.
Oh, fuzzy caterpillar. That's I want to add that to my list.
I like it. I like that Moffat is pretty well spread out. So it seems like, although you I also note the throwdown skill is all right. I mean, it is described there, but the throwdown is like sort of what you use when you are in social combat. Yeah, I like that Moffat is quite well-rounded in a way. We got Tyler Orion ready to go.
I think I'm ready. I have Lexi, who is, I think she's fairly small for her age. So she has that, 12-year-old. She definitely looks like a first year. But she's fairly good at her defense against the dark arts and really good with magical creatures, which is her particular fondness, main thing loving to study. A little bit of history and lore. And the interpersonal, widely spread, I guess, is the best thing to say there. Good at talking to grown-ups, or at least as good as she is at anything, and pretty good at BS detecting. General skills, she's actually fairly cool. Hanging out with animals is always cool, but nothing in comparison to someone's preparedness. Holy crap. But she's good at riding, and she tends to have magical creatures she likes to ride. I don't know if this applies much, but she has a favorite, which is a talking Saint Bernard that she'll pull up. She's actually a decent enough fighter, and she could kind of take care of herself, and her special ability is scratching behind ears because everybody likes a little scratch behind the ears. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Awesome. I am excited to meet Lexi's dog. And Ryan, what have you got for us? Does Lexi's dog
Accidentally
have Oh, go ahead.
on the wrong spot. Oh, nope, continue.
I was just going to say, ask if Lexi's dog has a name yet.
Give me a second, but I'll come up with that here quickly. Go ahead, Ryan. I'll come up with something in a moment.
I was halfway through typing an image thing and didn't want to forget what I was doing. I haven't put in my name yet, but I'm going to be Lena, she, her. I'm good at potions and herbology, and I'm really bad at divination, honestly, but I keep thinking that if I put in a bit more effort, I can figure out what the questions are going to be on the next test. So even though I'm bad at a lot of the subjects, I'll know exactly what to study, and then I'll get good grades. It hasn't worked yet, but I'm pretty sure as I get better at divination, I will therefore be better at all the subjects because I won't waste my time with anything else. I'm pretty good BS detector, pretty good at being a show-off, not generally good at making people do what I want, though, and I am really good at sports, like super good at sports, mostly because I'm really good at swimming. Unfortunately, I don't think they have sports teams in Magic School, so, you know.
Oh, they do. They have different sporting events for the different houses. Fortunately for you, there is a giant lake just outside.
Yay.
Unfortunately, though, it is cold.
Ew. Well, my special skill is hot drinks. I am good at tea and cocoa and stuff. I always have hot drinks. And they're probably better than yours, so there.
I love it. Somehow I feel like these capabilities is very telling of the group of people I'm with.
I was tempted to take one that was broad and good and then went, wait, that's cheating. Somebody has scritching behind the ears. I need to be better than that.
The magical ball sport in this setting, I have decided, is called broom ball because I am not good at names. And I was like, I'm sure that J.K. Rowling thought of broom ball and then thought it was too stupid. And therefore...
Oh. Is this broom ball like the sport that's played on ice with brooms?
There's a sport on ice with brooms?
Yeah, it's a big thing in Minnesota. They actually have like official broom ball sticks because a regular broom is cheating. But yeah, it's like hockey, but everyone's in sneakers.
I mean, yes.
And there's no checking.
I think it's a mix of you use your broom to hit the ball, but then you also have to fly sometimes with it. And sometimes you run with it too. Oh, that's hilarious. I will work on this sport sometime. No, that's different.
We have so many stupid ice sports, okay? Keep them straight.
It's like you have too much ice and too much time. Awesome. So before we get into the relationships, which is supposedly what happens next, but I think it's more interesting to do your like houses and stuff now. So if you follow me on to the second tab, that is called locations. We have, oops. Well, one, we have a picture that I don't know why it keeps disappearing. Hello, there it is. We have a picture, but we also have this, which is our different houses that I have quickly made up. And they kind of have, like, you guys can just pick which house appeals to you. It'd be cool to have some crossover, so your characters can be in the same houses. The dog is now named Fuzzy Bottom because he has a cute little fuzzy bottom. That is inspired. That is how I would name my dog also. So the four houses are Melbax, Gilmore, Rawson, and Flynn. They are named after, I don't know, dragons. And they have weird tags that may or may not define their people, but they like to think those are their house values. They also have what kind of dorms these different houses you will be living in. So Rawson has the tree landscapes. They're like, I don't know, tree houses up in the treetops. Flynn lives in the tower. Yes, Rawson. Gilmorians live closest to the lake in a quite, I imagine to be a nice upscale sort of place. And the Melbacks kind of have the hot, kind of gross under egg. It's a bit warm and stuffy there, which is probably why they're so hot-headed. They're probably not sleeping too well. Fun fact, these are based on my primary school houses.
Are we like deciding between ourselves which one we all belong to, or is this an individual thing?
It's an individual. We decide within. Like, I think a bit of chatter around this would be great. I think it'd be fun if some of you aren't in the same houses, or it could be fun that if you're all in the same. I wouldn't do more than 2 though. Like, I don't want each person being in their own separate house because that would be boring.
I rather like Rawson.
Same here. Yeah, for me anyway. That fits kind of what I was going for.
That's awesome. And both of your characters were sort of leaning in that direction and would be in the same house. So feel free to take that now.
Okay, cool.
Ryan, do you have thoughts on which house?
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Flynn, because it sounds like the cute Hufflepuff of the houses. And
I was
that's how
thinking
I roll.
that too. Do you want to double down on Flynn?
Woo, yeah.
That's awesome. So let's get from Lexi and Moffat. Like, what's Rawson like? A little bit. I mean, I know we've got the little thumbnail there, but like, what do you think? What do you imagine? Because you're first year dorms. What are you would be sharing like a room dorm area? What does that look like? Like, tell us one detail about it each.
Let's see, and it's the tree line scapes. So they tend to, it implies that they were out there probably amongst the trees a bit. So I think that we have a series of like the Swiss Family Robinson almost sort of houses in trees sort of things. And so like the first years, there's this very large oak that the common area is all the wraps around the major, the trunk. So there are all these platforms. And then they have like stairways and rope ladders that lead off to each of the individual branches, which would have the dorm for, I don't know how many room together, but the 3 or 4, 2 or whatever that live together have their little spots there. And then as you go up in houses, you get higher trees, bigger ones, and they're fancier because, you know.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I think you're right. There's probably about 3 or 4. So, yeah, Ari, what's your lower limbed branch like? Where you share this house with Lexi?
Yeah, lower limb branch. So can I describe any part of this place we live? Yeah, I was thinking actually there's a place like down in the roots where the cool kids go. It's kind of like a secret place, like Dead Poet Society, that if you're either cool enough or you're higher enough in the years as a student, you get to be part of that, and you go down and talk about really cool secret stuff. Like most secret magic is discussed down in this cavernous roots below the tree.
That's so cool. I think they call it the Rawson Hollow. Is where
yeah,
hang out. Yeah, that's cool. And let's go to Flynn in the Tower Home. What's Tower Home like?
I'm kind of imagining it doesn't make any logical sense in how, like, it's one of those shifting buildings where everything changes and things get bigger and smaller, and sometimes you have to travel like via a gust of breeze upwards, and sometimes you're walking down forever, and sometimes you're just going round and round, and like you want to be pretty patient, otherwise you're not going to get to your destination. You're going to give up before you get there, which is probably why it's where Flynn hangs out.
You have to believe you're going to get where you're going before you get there. And Ryan, like, what is the space that you guys actually share, that Lena and Priscilla share in Tower Home like?
Well, since it's way up a tower that you have to be pretty committed to actually getting up, you'd expect that they'd be kind of small, drafty rooms, but no, they're super awesome. Like, a floor of the tower is like one shared room, and I mean, like, the stairs kind of loop around the outside, and then the center of the tower or whatever is the rooms, so that there's not really a draft in them, and they don't have their own little windows, but like they open up into this kind of outer ring that's got lots of nice windows in it with lots of pretty glass that's in different colors, so you have like colors coming down through the tower, and lots of pretty upholstery, probably lots of yellows because it looks like Flynn is a very yellow sort of thing, and it's much cozier than you would expect. Somehow the heating manages to actually get up there. Maybe heat rises even if it's in a tower. Maybe it's just magic. I don't know.
Yeah, it's famed for like the colored stained glass. I think that it feels like a sunroom up there the whole time. So the spy sprites are useful when you get to know them. Awesome. That's cool. I loved hearing a little bit more about your different houses. So you're all in first year. We've gone through that. The next thing to think about is like a club. So a club in this sort of setting can be anything from the broom ball team to, like, if you've got an extracurricular Dumbledore's Army style club, or even if it's just a loose group of social friends that are around a certain thing, or if you're like the committee for the Witchmas events or whatever it is, feel free to just like take it where you please. It sort of would be good to have it involve other members of the student body outside of U4, because U4 will know each other, but so you can have other social circles to draw on, essentially, is the point of the club. So give that a think. I'll outline the other three things that you're going to need to think about as well. The next one is drive, and drive is like what gets you about mysteries. Like, why do you want to solve mysteries? Like, that's your drive. Like, is it because I can't stand not knowing the answers, or is it that I want to be an investigative journalist in the future, and this is like why? So it sort of answers the why you get involved in mysteries. And the last one is story arc. And a story arc is sort of just like something your character wants to achieve in these two, in this first year, or in these two sessions. Like, whether it's I want to make a new friend, or like, just like little goals that you can chart your character arc growth in. So those are the three things that you're looking for there.
Where is the school located?
So the school is located in a sort of like, you can see in the picture, it's like by a lake, there's mountains in the distance. There's not really that much more around it apart from this village, this town and city. So a little bit secluded from the rest of the world.
Is it in a country, or is it sort of manifested elsewhere place?
Yeah, it's not in a specific country, I didn't think. I felt like it was a mystical, magical-y, fantasy landy thing, but like still mired in sort of the feel and trappings of a mix of like Hogwarts and Studio Ghibli stuff in my head. So I didn't have a specific country for it, to be honest. if that doesn't help. I'm sorry. We can choose a country now. But I think it's a Fantasyland-ish thing is what I was going for with it.
I feel like the Rarson Hollow kind of fills in the club gap for what I was doing there. Does that sound right to you, Tyler?
Yes. So yeah, are you guys part of the Rawson Hollow then?
Oh, maybe not. But I'm just thinking that it seems like that fits the criteria for the club.
Yes, definitely. And if you put Rawson Hollow in your club, that means you'd be part of that, whatever the secret thing that's happening there.
Okay.
You have different clubs. I guess you could share it. There's no reason not to, but I think that I don't think I read anything that says, oh, you can't have the same clubs, but I think the intention was to have different clubs. But I think it's fun to double up as well. I have to screen share this because everyone's... One, we now have a picture of Lena that includes tea, which is amazing. It's a very appropriate, all filled out. So cute. One thing about the club is, like I said, it's going to inform. I wanted to do that before you do your relationships because it could inform what you want to do with your relationships. Basically, for relationships, you get 13 points that you can invest into different relationships. They suggest for a game like this, you assign 5 and then leave the other 8 free, and then when you meet someone in an NPC or something, then you can be like, oh wait, I know that NPC, and then invest your relationship, your extra points in that like after when we were playing. So relationships you take you define whether you have a like, love, or hate with that person, and then you put in the pool however many like points you want in that relationship. So if I like loved 6 someone, that means like we're real tight, like I really love them and I would do anything for them, and the 6 points that you invest in that relationship is basically 6. It's like a resource that you can call upon them as a contact or connection to help you. If you have hate is a bad thing in a way, but it's a good thing. If you take a hate, then you get 3 extra points to spend in your other relationship points. So I think you start with just like hate 3 generally, and the 3 points in that hate the GM can use against you using that NPC. If that makes sense. The other, relationships also have an ability, a location, and what that connection, that person thinks of you. So an ability they have is access. You might don't fill that out if you don't have any ideas. We can fill it out together during play with something that makes sense. So, for example, your grandmother Haley is one of the teachers in the school. I see you've read the teacher lists. For example, Haley, your grandmother being the herbology teacher, their ability might be a lot of herbology. Herbology to the max.
The 3 choices were like, love, and hate.
Yep.
What does like get for you? Get you?
Like is still the same. You can still call upon them. They just don't love you yet.
Gotcha.
So it's sort of defining like whether you're friends with them or if you're family or dating or that kind of thing. So I think for now, assigning like 5 or 6 of those, having 2 or 3 relationships is plenty. I'll try to, obviously, if you're putting something down as a relationship, we'll try to hit them either this session or next session as well. Yeah, it's cool.
Haley, you've been dating the tower ghost?
Maybe, I don't know. Were we dating? I can't tell. What is dating?
Like she said hi to you one time.
I got her a gift.
Don't date the ghost that lives in your tower. That's a no-no.
We're not dating. We're just special friends. God damn it.
Ellie, you look done. Why don't you take us through your club drive, story arc, and relationships, complicated as they are.
Sure. So the club that Priscilla is a part of is the competitive scrying team, and we've got a big reputation to uphold. Last year we were the defending champions. Well, we are the defending champions this year, sorry. But last year a lot of people said that it was only because the actual powerhouse team wasn't in the competition, so we're training extra hard. Priscilla's drive is that knowledge is power. The more you know, the more influence you have over other people. And her story arc is, how do you start a relationship when you know how it's going to end? And her 2 relationships are the herbology teacher, Anne Cook-sun, who is her grandmother, who can be found in the herbology rooms and thinks that Priscilla should follow her passion rather than follow others so blindly. Should follow her blindly instead. And Agnes, her girlfriend, maybe not. It's complicated. The tower ghost. They're on a break.
Have you got anyone else who's ready to go?
I think I have mine. My club is the Future Druid Society. My drive is friendship is the greatest treasure, and my story arc is to find a true and loyal friend. And Mr. Fuzzy Bottom is my fuzzy wuzzy best friend, and I love him with a 3 pool. And Kuro, the raven that sits on the Astro Tower, I like, and I have a 2 pool for. And Norman Snart, a snotty boy who pulls my ponytails. I hate him with 1.
I think he hates you too. No, I mean he loves you. Who knows? Norman's not. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm good to go, I think. So the club, as we described, Rarson's Hollow, the roots beneath our lovely tree abode. And my drive is unibrows are beautiful. My story arc is to accept myself. And my relationships, Berga, the woodland cyclops. We have a very close friendship. We can figure out what that is. And mysterious unicorn that only Moffat can see. And that's a like.
Oh, I like that one. When do you talk about the unicorn very much to anyone else, or is it just currently like friends only get to know that you see?
Yeah, it's my secret friend for now. Might land me into trouble, who knows? Maybe I've told, like, depending on how close of a friendship I have with Lexi or with Berga, I may have mentioned it.
I mean, how close are you to Lexi? So how do you guys get along?
Well, you're one of the cool kids. I don't know. Do you sort of? I'm definitely not one of the cool kids.
Here's the dilemma: is I think I wish I was a cool kid, and maybe I was just inducted into that. The Rarson Hollow. What do they call that? Initiation, I guess. I'm in an initiation right now, but I definitely feel like I'm not really a part of that. Like, why am I even accepted into this? What ulterior motive do I have? I'm very nervous about what pranks and name calling and horrible things they're going to do to me. So with that in mind, maybe we are actually closer because of that. I don't know.
That's cool. I don't know. It's looking a little like I'm fairly pleasant, I guess. Yeah, I'm probably fairly pleasant. I'm probably better with animals than people, but I'm nice enough, and I see myself as. I don't think she, one of these folks who tries too hard to make friends. It's just she's generally very pleasant, and she notices when people are giving her bullshit, and lots of people do that. So she's probably less trustful of people than she is with animals because they don't bullshit you much.
Sure. Now I'm just thinking because of is it Mr. Fuzzy Bottom? Yeah, because of Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, that could be kind of like the thing that connects us because Moffat loves animals and he's got this unicorn that you can see. So it might be, can Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms talk, or is it just a?
I was imagining he could talk. He may not talk a lot, but I was imagining he could talk.
So I think Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms knows that I have seen a unicorn. And I've told Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms. I don't know if Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms has talked to you about it, but I think I'd be pretty friendly towards you, even if we haven't spoken much.
Okay, awesome. I think I would definitely be more than happy to be friendly with you. I imagine Fuzzy would tell me if you're seeing a unicorn.
Yes. I'm almost thinking of changing my story arc to figuring out this unicorn.
That's awesome. That would be really cool.
I'm going to do that.
That's like Mr. Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street, where only Big Bird can see him.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, that is great. Things going well over at Rawson. Flinians. I did have a question, Tyler, about the Future Druid Society.
Yes.
What kind of people are in that society?
I imagine you have those of us that are real big animal lovers, and that ranges from the, rather silly, oh, I love the kitty, Elmira from Animaniacs, sort of, oh, huggy, 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 to those that are like really, we have an organization in America, the Future Farmers of America, which they're very into learning about that sort of thing. And all the way up to the hippies. I imagine there's plenty of, oh, love the trees, man, sort of hippies too.
So is that like it's a smaller branch of a much bigger thing outside the school, or is it like a school extracurricular?
I think it is there's an organization amongst magical schools that they get together, and who might be able to do the best bird calls as a competition, and there'd be grow the weirdest plant competitions, stuff like that.
Okay, so I changed my story arc is to ride a unicorn. I think that is like supposed to be, like, you have to really earn the trust of unicorn to be able to ride it.
Ooh, that's really cool. That's very, very cool.
Do I have any riding ability?
Good question. Because you won't be able to. You have poor riding skills.
I could teach you.
Enough to make a test.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. Yeah, I've got 4 in it. Looks like Lexi has a bit more. That could be another, other thing there.
Cool. And we've got Ryan. We've got Lena.
Yeah, Lena's on the broomball team because she's good at sports. I don't know what all goes into broomball, but she's good at it because she has like crazy sick athletics. She can do every sport. And her drive is the more the merrier. She likes having lots of people around. Her story arc is making a close friend because she has lots of people around, but she's not really... she's the one that everybody knows, but not the one that anybody confides in, probably. And I only have like relationships. They're very casual in general. No enemies, no close friends, just a lot of people who know me. Maggie Wu is also on the broomball team. An Kuksun is the nicest teacher here. I like her class a lot. It's one of the ones I'm not absolutely terrible at. And Mimi the lake monster probably doesn't care about me at all, but sometimes I save the fish from my lunch for her and kind of toss it into the lake because I hate fish and she likes it, so we both win.
Oh, it's so cute. No wonder everyone likes Lena, even if no one is super close. And you're also in Ann Cooksun's class. And Priscilla, has your grandmother said anything about Lena to you?
I think she's like that Lena girl. She's does things. She's good at broomball. I see her flying laps around the school all the time. You should be more like her.
So are you guys close or not close? It sounds like you're not particularly close.
I think we're definitely friends. I think like Priscilla and Lena are both people who are kind of friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that I think Lena is probably a bit indecipherable to Priscilla. I don't know what Lena thinks about Priscilla.
I think Lena thinks Priscilla's pretty cool, but I mean, she does a lot of divination stuff. Like, she's actually on the team for that. She's probably really good at it. And I think she has a thing with the tower ghost. And there's a lot going on there. And I'm a little intimidated She probably knows what I'm going to say and how dumb it is before I say it. So maybe I shouldn't try.
Awesome. Cool. And that's our characters. We're done with character creation. How's about we take a 10 break till 11 past, so 5-minute break, and then I'll run through some I like doing some intro scenes, so we'll do that, and then we'll get into it at the end of that. So see you guys all. Okay, the minute just moved, so 12 past. Awesome. Everyone is back. Yes. So let's start painting a picture of where we are and what's happening. So 6 months ago, you all arrived at Heartwing Academy, and to get to Heartwing Academy, you go through a tunnel. It's a long tunnel. The walls subtly shift colors and patterns that reflect how you feel about the upcoming school year. And as you step out into the sunlight on the other side, you find yourself on a gently sloping hill, falling away before you, and you can see rising up this giant dragon's egg with a castle nested in a castle around it. And that is Heartwing Academy. They say that it's a dragon god's egg that never hatched. And you can see the Astro Tower is like a spike that at the going into the egg where it sort of cracks around it. And it said that like because of this fracture, the egg never hatched and it became a magical academy. To your right, you see there's like a foothills and a scattering of rooftops. This is Hoggleshod Village. It's just a tiny little village that I think exists to support the school. It's one of those towns that sprung up near a bigger institution. There's not a lot of people that particularly live there, and a lot of the classes are structured around helping, especially in the younger kids, helping the inhabitants of that town magically. And then you see behind that the Umbral Lake, a huge expanse, and in the distance the Sky Ash Mountains. And this is your home for the next 6 years. Let's flash forward to the opening ceremony. I want to put a spotlight on Moffat. So what's Moffat's demeanor in sort of the opening ceremony, which is like I guess an assembly in the main quadrangle. The teachers are all in a row. They're doing their start of year speeches. What's Moffat like in the chair? Comfortable? Squirming?
Squirming. Definitely squirming, kind of moving around, sitting with a few of the, what were they called again? The Rarson's Hollow members who don't really speak to Moffat much. So Moffat's like trying to fit in with them, trying to throw in a word or two, but he's kind of by himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and as he's casting his eyes around, you actually recognize one of the other PCs. Who do you recognize that surprises you, and how do you know them?
I think Priscilla, because she's on this competitive team, and I've seen. I guess Priscilla's, if she's on a competitive team, she's a competitive person and probably has a pretty popular profile. So I see her and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I wish I could be like a little bit like more like Priscilla. She's so bold and competitive, and yeah, if I was more like her, maybe I'd people in the hollow would talk to me more, is what I'm thinking.
Awesome. So I'm going to say, do you know Priscilla from before you started this school? Is it from not middle school, what is in Australia it's called primary school, but grades 1 to 6, or is it from family? How do you guys know each other?
Is this for both of us or for yeah?
Both both of us. So Haley, feel free. Priscilla, feel free to weigh in.
Yeah, I just throw this idea out. Maybe we knew each other better when we were younger, and then when you became more competitive and I kind of drifted more into being shy, we didn't like, we're not, like separated, not talking to each other, but it's just one of those things like over time. That's what happened. Does that sound right?
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, now that I'm in this club, I see an opportunity. Maybe I put my hand up, like, hey.
Yeah, I think like Priscilla like sees you put your hand up, and she like is one of those looks that you know is like very hollow, like when you wave back to somebody because you just do automatically, but you're not really looking at them or paying attention to them. She's too busy looking at other people.
Nice poetic touch with the hollow, and I'm in the Rarson's hollow. Yeah, I maybe nudge a little closer, my chair a little bit closer to the other Rarson hollow members, trying to give myself a little bit more like feeling of oomph, but it doesn't really work. And I just kind of like pull my hoodie down. One little half wave, and then I just kind of stay where I'm sitting.
Awesome. Let's move into another shot now in this montage. We're in the dormitory of the Flynn Tower home. And Lena, let's see you in your space on your bed. What's scattered around you?
Bunch of broom ball equipment for sure. You probably have to wear pads and stuff because, you know, like brooms are involved. And if you fly on the broom sometimes, you have to be ready to fall off the broom. And they don't want to have kids getting like magical concussions or anything here. So tons of safety gear. And probably your trusty broom out because she has to like realign the twigs or something for maximum sweepiness and also flying. I'm not sure what all goes into this sport, but there's lots of things to be dealt with.
I love it.
Yes, it's a technical term.
Yep, dealt with.
Oh, sweepiness.
Sweepiness, yes.
Because I saw Tyler mouthing it back.
Go ahead. Oh. I muted by accident.
Okay, because I was going to say in the break, I was joking that we won't ever define broomball. We just keep adding elements to the sport, and we can all pretend whatever it's happening. So as you're looking at, you're thinking about, I think this is when you're finding out whether you're getting into the broomball team, and you're like hoping that you will, but you're pretty sure you will, and you're looking around trying to calm down. What secret of Priscilla's do only you know? What do you notice in this room while Priscilla is out? Is there anything? And again, Haley, as Priscilla's character, you might have a good idea for this as well.
What kind of secrets of yours do I know?
Is it Agnes? Are you the only one that knows about our possible relationship? Does she come in looking for me when I'm not there or something?
Oh yeah, that's probably why I know about your possible relationship, because Agnes like comes in only when you're not here. You're like, oh, I just barely missed her. But it's not like I came here just to see her, because we're not dating or anything, and I'm terribly confused by all of this. It's really awkward being the roommate in this situation.
Oh, and Agnes totally gives you like, I'm gonna leave this here for Pris. Okay, bye. And like drops off some I think it's probably like a note, but it's written. You can tell that it's like a love letter as it's being left there.
If I was better at divination, I could see what it said without opening it, and then I would know and not have like violated privacy or anything, because I mean, if you divine it, does that really count?
Awesome. And then montage, we get to a classroom scene. It's probably one of the first classes you do out in Puggleshod, and you are helping cut down firewood with magic spells. It's incredibly, it could be dangerous, but apparently they think doing it with spells instead of axes makes it okay. Priscilla, how are you faring with this charms class?
Well, as the teachers have left the immediate vicinity. I have stopped trying to chop down trees some time ago, and am much more concerned with trying to work out who shares the dorm rooms with who.
Who's sharing in your house or in other houses?
Oh, mainly in other houses. I know who shares dorm rooms in my own house already.
Okay, and I think this is the scene that we see you meeting Lexi. To bring Lexi into it. You know, this is one of those things where I think Lexi realizes that you're shirking, and the charms teacher is also the principal, and Professor Ravana is not like a slacker and does not like slackers at all. So I suppose, I mean, the question I was going to ask you is, what do you owe Lexi? But that might be too obvious. But do you have an idea of how to play that out? I kind of just want to see what the interaction between you two would be like in this context.
I don't know. I let's play into the tropes. I like, what do you owe Lexi? Why not? Like,
okay.
Let's make it how does that moment look like, Tyler?
That you owe me in some way? Is that what we're saying?
I think, like, I basically, because the charms teacher is also the principal, and like, I think it's one of those ones where, like, the teacher is walking up from behind. I can't see. I'm facing other people. I'm very prepared, but my awareness is very low, and I'm saying, okay, so Daniel rooms with Jacob. Oh my gosh, those two! I never thought they'd get along. Like, and you can see all this happening
as you're about to get into trouble. I think probably that we're supposed to be collecting firewood and using these spells to, like, chop down things, but I've probably been kind of just like listening to you as I've summoned up, like, animals that, you know, all of these rather large birds that have just been bringing sticks back and putting them in front of me. And so as the teacher comes up, I sort of see them coming, and you'll see me shift some of what I've gained over towards you. So it really looks more like we've got a communal pile. Kind of looking behind you.
Yeah, you turn around and Professor Irfana is quite tall. She's got a shaved head, and she's just like very sharp edges. Everything around her, everything about her is sharp. She's got like a really slick pair of shoes on, and like almost a sheen to her. Like, she's wearing black, but it's like got a purple sheen to it. She says, "That's quite a pile," and a little bit impressed.
Thank you, Professor.
And I think, like, Priscilla just turns around and smiles her widest, broadest smile.
Yep. And Professor Irfana misattributes the pile to Priscilla. Cool. And so let's start on the so we've seen a little bit of our characters and kind of get the hang of them over this sort of 6-month period. You all are hanging out together when this story begins. Where do you, for unlikely people, sort of hang out together?
So we're going off the idea that even to begin with, we're already friends. We're not meeting at the end. We're already
exactly.
friends.
You know each other. You are maybe aren't like super close, but it's, you know, it's first year. That's the year where you end up in these really weird groups of people as you're trying to feel each other out. So it could be that sort of thing. It could be that there's like a core and then there are peripherals. So feel free to like pull from what you know so far. And
Do you think we do lunch together? That's always a nice, fairly, you get stuck with who your lunch period is, and you may or may not be close buddies with them, but you have people that sit at the same table, sort of thing, or we eat in the rose garden or something.
That could work. Or as a like add on to that, where do you take Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms for walks? Or does Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms just kind of like take you for a walk?
I don't know. I don't know if I get to, I guess I have him with me most of the time. He's a magic-y animal, so I think he probably sticks around me most of the time. But I don't think he's the full, like, poops rainbows or anything. He probably has to go walkies. So I probably take him to, he probably goes while we're in the rose garden having lunch off to the, behind a bush. He has his privacy he likes to keep hold of.
Could it be that we've been allocated this table like as a thing to get first years from other houses mingling, like 2 people from the same dorm, 2 people from the dorm in the other house, and then we have to sit at this table and be friends whether you like it or not?
Yeah, I like
just
it.
Lucky I drew the table with the big dog, because it could be a bunch of people I don't know, or it could be a bunch of people that I don't really know and a dog. So I win.
Yeah, and it's in it's probably in the rose gardens are being sort of a pet project of the herbology professor, so your grandma. So I think that's why you probably have been placed in it as well, so you can make sure that it stays clean and neat. And so, Professor Sun is like, if there's if you see anyone, you have to go off on them. I will not tolerate the first years messing up the new rose bushes I just put in. They haven't even begun talking yet. Leave it better than you found it. Perfect. Yeah, so you've got this table in the rose gardens. Who brings up, and it's probably like you've had to do this like or maybe like fortnightly since the start of the year, so you kind of know each other fairly well-ish for first years. Who is it that brings up the big news, which is of course the upcoming Witchmas dance? It's the end, not the end of the year because it's in the middle of the school year. Not in Australia, but elsewhere. This big event that's happening.
Well, Priscilla, you tend to be the most gossipy of us, but I liked a little gossip here and there. Do you think we're guessing at who's going to end up asking who, sort of thing?
Oh, I think I've got my little like scrying thing that I'm not supposed to use for anything except competition practice. And we're looking into it and we're like, no, those two? And just generally like being idiots.
Yes, exactly.
Are Lena and Moffat at all interested in this topic?
Oh,
Kind of
I just
leaning over, looking at it, and making appreciative noises and stuff as I'm eating my lunch. Like, oh yes, that is shocking, and yes, I could probably do all this divination myself. I'm not even really participating. I'm just sitting there, like I'm also here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of just nodding, and looking at them, like worrying whether I'd be cool enough to go with anyone to the dance or not.
Oh, and like as they're watching, suddenly Priscilla's like, "Oh my gosh, Lena, it's you in the background. Look, what are you wearing at the dance when you see yourself in the scrying pool?"
I'm wearing a really great sari. It's all like orange and red, and it's got like some pink details, and it's styling. And I have accessorized perfectly. I mean, she's accessorizing even now on her uniform because you don't get to pick what you wear so much, but you can pick, earrings and necklaces and everything, and she is not going to be bland, but this is a chance to go all out.
And I think if it's okay with you, Ryan, in the scrying pool, it's clear you're with somebody, but we can't make it out because you're in the background behind the other couple, and we're like, trying to work it out, we can't see.
Okay, but is Mr. Fuzzy Bottom in, like, a tie? Because I need to know that. As I kind of lean over.
I think he's a tie guy. I mean, part of me wants to believe an ascot, but I believe probably a tie, doggy. No. Widget, our dog, I put her into a jaunty scarf quite a bit. So that's what Mr. Fuzzy Bottom has, is a very jaunty scarf.
Oh, I love it. It's so jaunty.
Lena,
Go ahead. I was going to say
Lena,
it's
like outright squeaks when she sees it because it is adorable.
perfectly jaunty and looking groomed as ever. As you for squealing for various things in this divination, a second year approaches your table. It's interesting because who has the highest gossip? Probably, I would imagine, Priscilla. Yes. Priscilla, you actually know this person who's approaching. It's a rather popular, like, this bad boy type. His name is Sebastian Castellian. You know him because he is infamous that although he's in second year, it's because he's repeating this year. So he's actually, like, a year older. And he saunters, which is the word for what he does, saunters up to your table and says, "Hey, first years. I think he knows Lena. He is probably the most well-known of you." And he sort of winks at Lena and says, "Look, I was wondering if you guys had, much time. I've got a little bit of a problem I thought maybe you guys could help me out with."
What kind of a problem?
Well, it's actually not even my problem. He's like, "Oh, woe is me." It's not even my problem. It's my sister. She's one of the prefects in Melbax, and she's had something stolen from her. We think it might be the doing of one of the older boys in Rawson. And I think, like, he looks sheepishly at the two of you that are wearing the green markings from Rawson. He's just wondering if, you guys could maybe look into it a little bit for us. Like, nothing creepy, just keep a tabs on one of the guys there. He's also on the looks over at Seb looks over at Lena again. He's also on the broomball team. 4th year. I don't know if you know him. His name's Mickey Song.
Do we know him?
I think that Lena does. I think Lena's played in a game against Mickey, and definitely knows Mickey as being a very talented broomball player on the defense. And I think Moffat knows Mickey from Rawson Hollow. Like, definitely one of the older boys in that club.
I don't want to cause any trouble. What kind of trouble did he cause?
Well, you know what they say, innocent until proven guilty. But that's where I think you guys can help me out, because, look, it's you guys know much about the lion fruit? Who's got herbology?
Potions.
Yeah, potions and potions also helps. So
I've got a whopping 1 in potions, so
yeah.
I think Ryan,
Yeah.
Lena would know better.
I've got herbology and potions covered.
Beautiful. You know, it's a fruit that's local to this area. It's very rare. There's only like 1 or 2 fruits per year. One usually when you see it out. And it grows on lines. It's like the lion's fruit grows on that lion's head, lion's grove on that headland near your school. And it's one of those things that said, like, you know, it gives you the courage to speak your mind to when it's hard. And if like 2 people who are in love share it, then they can be like transparent and happy for 60 years to come. Like when Lena's saying that, Lexi kind of recalls like there's like a ballad, a really old 14th century ballad that kind of is a love story about this lion fruit. And so it's you know, my sister, there's only 1 and it's hotly contested, and Belle lucked out this year. She found one, and she had a big plan for it, and it was stolen from her like a couple of days ago in the library.
And you think our housemate did it?
Yeah, that's what Belle thinks anyway. She asked me to follow this dude around, but I'm already in hot water with the teachers. I can't be seen to doing this kind of thing anymore. Guys, I got to make it 3rd year, you know, before you folks catch up. And he's like, so please do me a solid, and what can I even give you guys? I'll go with any one of you to the dance. How's that?
I'll sort of roll my eyes at the presumption that that's a prize, some boy. But
he's got a beautiful swoop of hair.
I could change him. He's a bad boy, but I could fix him. I'll say I'm pretty sure you're gonna find that no one from our house would do something like this. But sure, I'll look around at the rest. Actually, I'll probably be looking more towards Moffat of, you know, that sort of house pride thing of we're going to clear his name. Look over towards Moffat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rarson Hollow wouldn't do a thing like that. Definitely not. But I'll keep my eyes open.
All right. Well, if you're happy to do it. But you can talk to my sister about it. I'll let her know that you guys are on the case. She can be a bit scary.
You think if I find the fruit and maybe you'll tell her I just want to talk to her and say hi sometime?
Yeah, you can talk to her. I bet if you gave her the fruit, she would be real happy about that. Okay. I think he like ruffles your head a bit, like a douchebag would.
Oh man, and maybe my hoodie comes up and my unibrow is like really prominent, and I just sink back. Oh, okay, and I just cover it up.
Yeah, and I think you even see that like that mean streak in him. That's like he's like, when he sees the unibrow. Poor. Oh, Seb.
Because they're deciding this, Lena was doing a kind of dramatic flip of her lustrous hair, like, I'm out of your league. Except that then Moffat is trying so hard. She's like, okay, oh no, I've got to help the nerd flirt. We got to do this case.
What was his sister's name? I'm going to write it down.
It's Belle.
Belle, okay. All right.
Yeah, and Priscilla's like, yeah, of course, we can help with that. We're going to need to know everything. I mean, everything.
All right, just ask.
And I think she's like, she pulls out a little like notebook because she's always prepared for these kind of situations. It's like a magical notebook. I think it's like the one that, is it the one that like Rita Skeeter has where it writes by itself? And she's just like, okay, where was the last scene? Where did she leave it alone? Who was there last? Was there anybody in the library in the vicinity? Like, just rattling off question after question. Also, who did you want to go to the dance with? And like, who's your top pick? Who do you think the other first, second year's top picks goes a bit more off topic as well?
Oh, very relevant facts.
It was in the library. Everyone, all the students cramming for the exams were in there. The librarian was in there. She was shushing everyone. I was thinking of taking Karen, but Karen dumped me last year, so it's not a great idea. I've got a list actually in my bag of who in my grade is going out with who, but that's privileged information. Did I answer all your questions?
Wait, you two broke up?
That's old news.
You didn't know that?
And then Priscilla tries to hide her embarrassment by being like, we should get going. We haven't got long left till the end of lunch.
Just one thing. Why did Belle think it was him if there was a room full of other people? I mean, it must have made her think that he did it. Why him?
Well, it's one of those situations where I think Belle's man, love triangle kind of thing. Mickey's been real rough on Belle the last couple of months. I'll let her tell the story. I don't want to be that nosy. Looks over at Priscilla.
But she thinks it's because he's jealous?
Yeah, he keeps threatening her. Just silly stuff,
Oh. Well, that's not cool. And, I'll nod to Priscilla. We should, I guess, talk to Belle here soon.
Cool. Thank you all. And he does like a magnanimous bow. I think Lena and Lexi, you both have pretty good BS detectors. You notice that Seb was kind of really like iffy, definitely like concealing stuff when it came to like Belle's relationship, like not comfortable with the topic. And Seb tends to be the kind of guy who seems to be okay talking about who's going out with who generally.
So there was something in particular he was keeping away from that.
Yeah, he's just uncomfortable. Like his anxiety, you can see, when you're like someone's uncomfortable with a subject and you see that spike in them. I think you noticed.
Okay. I suppose after he's left and we're scooting away, I'll look to kind of confirm that between us. I don't think he was telling us everything about that. I don't know if he's involved somehow, but he sure wasn't wanting to be real forthcoming about it.
Yeah, I think we should take Mr. Fuzzy Bottom with us. What do you think, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom? He might find out something we can't smell with our nose.
I mean, were we ever not going to take?
Oh, sorry, you're muted. You're muted, Tyler.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I imagined that he's come up after his business, and I, will reach up to him and would you like that, Mr. Fuzzy? Would you like that? And I imagine he's kind of hurled. Yes, I suppose so. Yes, but he's a doggy of few words. If I could do a Nigel Thornberry voice with consistency, he'd probably sound like that. But my Nigel Thornberry's still a little rough.
That's awesome.
So good.
Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, can you smell lion fruit?
Perhaps. Ability, keen sense of smell.
Sure, that sounds right for a dog.
All right. So you'll have to spend from your pool.
Okay.
Do you take a 1 spend from that?
All right. And
Sorry,
and
where
do,
is this going?
So it's the relationships, you know how you have a pool next to that number. So you should take that down by 1.
Okay.
Oh, Tyler, I didn't mean to make you do that. I was just throwing that out as a.
Well, no. So it sounds like a good thing, and I mean, that's what they're used for. Therefore, I suppose. So that sounds lovely.
What do you promise, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom?
Well, I think that I think it stands to reason that I'm going to promise him a very nice new jaunty scarf to wear to the dance.
Yes, you'll have to pick one up. Not from the village. Oh, they got bad stuff there. But I hear that sometimes town is coming back in and they've got real good stuff in their bazaar. It's a deal.
All right, Fuzzy.
I think you see, you know how dogs do that thing when they like do the pointer? They're like, boing, in a direction. And then it takes off towards it. I mean, who's following? Is everyone following? Or is there different plans?
And I suppose I crawled up on top of him as soon as he started moving.
In a well-practiced swing. Cool. It looks like everyone else is following. You end up in face-to-face with the herbology professor / your grandmother, who's like, the greenhouse is out of bounds to first years at this stage. And she specifically looks at you.
But you took me in here when I was little. Come on.
I mean, I'm very busy. Is it just to impress your friends?
And then I think like Priscilla steps in, like, so that no one else can hear her, and is like, Grandma, the massage you wanted. I have some time this evening.
With the oils? Both feet?
And then Priscilla's got like kind of a little bit of a pained expression on her face, and she's like, both feet.
All right, I'll take the 2 spin.
2 course. All right. 1 for each foot.
Yeah.
I think you discovered a new enemy.
You all walk into the greenhouse. You feel the burning eyes of a very on-point Asian grandma. Yeah, like the Korean like I think she even has like a fan that she's just like tapping. So one wrong move and you're gonna all get chucked out. But you're in, and it's beautiful in here. It's like it's getting colder everywhere else. It's like the snows are starting to come in the mornings, but in this greenhouse it is humid, it is warm, perfectly temperature controlled. There is an abundance of greenery and flowers, half of which you can't even recognize at this stage. They seem to be like 1,000 different colors spinning around. I think Mr. Fuzzy Bottom disappears into the undergrowth, and you can follow him into sort of a back corner where there's like a tree with a beautiful single fruit. It's like huge and golden, like a melon, but like fluffy. Like I think it has like a lion's mane outer shell thing, like a giant rambutan if you've seen them, but yellow.
Huh. So I'm looking at it, and I don't know herbology, but I knew the story. There's only supposed to be one. So, who is our best herbologist? I would probably know who's particularly skilled at that. I think that was you, wasn't it, Lena?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look over at you. I don't know if Belle had one after all. As I sort of point at, here it is. Eh?
There being 2 in 1 year, it's a huge coincidence. Just doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah, you know that it's possible. It does happen. There's that there can be 2. Definitely not more than like 3 is the max, and that's like once in 1,000 years. But so it could be with a year where there was 2.
And I'll say all of this out loud that, there could be 2. I mean, it's not unheard of for there to be 2. If there were 3, then that would be really, really weird. But
Priscilla, I don't suppose you can, read anything off of this one to see if there's others. You're always so good at, finding stuff. My keys always, you can always find when I lose those.
If they come from the same root tree, it could be possible with a charm. I say, not knowing if it's possible mechanically.
I mean, you can ask me if there's any charm spends here. Like, is there anything I can find if I spend a charm? Or you could always, I think you've still got spends from your grandmother, or Lena could do an extra spend on your herbology to find out more information. That's sort of how it works. Like I can ask if it's something that I think, oh, it'd be cool to have this. I can be like, do you want to spend any extra points? But also, I think it's usually PC initiative to say that you want to spend extra, or I guess fish for it. Like, hey, if there's a lot of XYZ around here, can I spend Y to find out about Z? That makes sense.
And so, just for a clarification on mechanics, we do some things with the pool where we're just kind of activating something that works. Then there are rolls which you can commit pool points to add a +1 to the roll. Is that correct? Okay, and in that case, we roll a 6. If we wish to add something, we can. Do we add before or after?
You add before you roll. So usually in terms of gathering clues, it's all done from your academic skills. And like I said, that's like you said, when you're there, you have the ability and you say you're using that. Like, I'm going to assess this using my knowledge of XYZ. The contests that you were describing where you roll, that's usually when you're, say, using an interpersonal skill directly on an NPC. Or you're doing something like with your athletics, or you're trying to ride a unicorn. That's when you do the rolls. Yeah. All clear? Cool. Yeah, so given that, does anyone want to do any extra spends? Or I think, or talk to your grandma, or what do you guys do?
I ask, this is your grandma, Priscilla, right? Do you think Grandma will let us have this fruit? If we take this back, it'll solve all our problems.
I think Priscilla actually bursts out laughing. She's like, Grandma wouldn't even let me have a extra sweet from the bowl. I think this is really valuable, right, Lena?
Yeah, I mean, these are worth more than talking to a girl, generally.
They're worth more than us, I reckon.
She'd like us. Yeah, we'd get in a lot of trouble if we took it.
Could I spend charm to like see if there'd been anyone like touching this or look like near this lately? Do you still spend points even if you can't find out information, or is it only you can only spend when you can find out things? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think that's probably more divination-y anyway, like trying to work out the like aura of this thing and around it. I'm gonna say there's not really much to learn. Don't spend it. There's not really much to learn in terms of what's been around this. I think it just everything in this greenhouse, the aura feels just like your grandma. Like you go close to one of the plants and it's like, oh, my back. You go to like closer to the thing and it's like, oh, I would like that massage. That foot massage would be great.
And I can't get this visualization out of my head of the feet. Like, it's just like, as a side effect of the spell, it's like just stuck on the feet, and like the smell and the texture just over and over again. I'm like, ah.
You can take 1 cool point damage for losing your cool around your grandma's feet.
Where's the psychological damage?
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so but I will take a herbology spend if anyone wants to spend the herbology.
I was about to ask, is there stuff for me to get from herbology? Because I can spend in herbology.
So I'm trying to figure out if there's something I haven't actually told you about it. Okay, I'm gonna rattle off some stuff, and if you feel like that's worth a spend it. Otherwise, keep your point. You look at this particular fruit, taking care not to touch it, because I think once your hands are on it, I think the lion it like traps all of the scents, the lion's fur, and you can definitely get a sense of who's been around it by that. And as you like sort of lean in and you're recalling what you know of the fruit, exactly where in like sort of the grove, the lion's grove that it actually grows in, because the grove is quite large and there's a few different kinds of trees in it, but you'll be able to like pick out, based on how this tree is growing, pick out the tree and the area where the exact area where it would grow. I didn't know how much you've explored around Lion's Grove. It's sort of off to the edge of the peninsula area, but definitely you'd save some time going forward looking for the particular, I'm going to say even like mate of this tree, I guess. They're apart from that, I think you know that it's, like it was an ingredient of the love potion. It gives you the courage to tell another the truth. And I think that's basically all you know about it. That's what makes it special. And you can confirm that it is worth more than you.
So you think that it just turned out there was another one?
I mean, we can't rule out the possibility that there are 2 lion fruit. At least not yet.
Does it mean something special when there's 2 lion fruit at the same time?
Fewer fights over the lion fruit.
And I think you hear your grandma come in, and they say that it means that it's a fortunate year for lovers everywhere. And then she's like, but unfortunately for you lot, lunch is over. Please. And she like puts her hand out to the door.
Grandma's very subtle.
Yeah, scram, kids.
She puts her hand on Priscilla as you're leaving. But come back, 8:30 tonight.
Yes, Grandma.
and I'm scratching Fuzzy, and that was very good, but that's not the one we needed. We needed Fuzzy. We need the other one.
And Fuzzy like looks confused, like that's the, you know, kind of wags his tail like, that's the only one I can smell.
It's okay. It's okay. You're a good Fuzzy Bottom.
Thanks, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom.
I think it, and because he says, but I can't smell everything.
You probably want to hold your breath in Grandma's house anyway.
Hey, only I get to say that.
maybe I whisper that it wasn't very nice.
What do you do?
Lena's going to like put a hand on Priscilla's shoulder, like, you took one for the team, and I see that and respect you for it, sort of thing.
Yeah, and Priscilla like gives like a thankful like look for the acknowledgement, and then a very mournful look as she contemplates her impending doom.
Where was the last place that the lion fruit was seen?
The library.
Library. And then there's also Belle that we need to talk to, right?
And there's Belle. And I don't know, after lunch is over, do we have class we have to get to, or are we
can always
fairly free?
You have classes, but we can skip past your classes and go to, you know, whenever you're free as well.
Right.
We can definitely have afternoon classes.
Well,
Yeah.
do we want to meet up to talk? Go ahead.
No, please.
Do we want to meet up and talk to Belle together, or?
Yeah, I was going to say that's the last thing that Moffat wants to do right now. He's really anxious about that and probably doesn't want to see her without having completed this task, but you could convince Moffat to go along.
You know, you hang out with, what was his name that supposedly stole this thing?
Mickey.
You know, you hang out with Mickey and the cool guys. Maybe you could like suddenly feel him out for whether he stole this thing.
Huh? Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe go see what they're up to. Are you going to come along? Oh, maybe they won't let you in.
They probably won't let you in, but I know you can do it on your own. I don't know if there's any mechanical benefit to me being reassuring here, but I would spend a point of my reassuring to bolster you up.
Let's hold it and use it as a like, you can aid normally you can aid someone in a role, so yeah, let's do that so that Moffat can keep his cool later on. That'd be cool.
You'll be great, Moffat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay. Maybe Mr. Fuzzy Bottom can like not be too far away, just in case, you know, maybe he can smell some lion fruit around there.
I'll look there and have that sort of somewhat jealous look of Mr. Fuzzy Bottom going off with someone else, especially somewhere I can't go. But maybe sort of thing.
Okay. Lena, you should talk to him too. That way, if he trips up in his story, we'll know he's lying.
Hey, I might be able to bring a guest along with me. Maybe they'll, you know, be okay if you come along. That'd be cool with me.
Well, people know Lena all over. She's probably like, yeah, I mean, I can go say hi to people in the dorm. It's not going to be too weird. I mean, we have to talk about broomball.
And Moffat's thinking, wow, if Lena comes along, that's going to make me look really cool. Oh, that's great. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I promise we'll take good care of Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, or the other way around, maybe.
Awesome. So let's see that scene start out, and then we can cut to see what Lexi and Priscilla want to do. Okay, Cool. So, Lena, it's probably your first time in the dorms, in the treescape. Is that right? Yep. And the hollow is a whole nother thing because you have the big tree, and you need to walk straight around to the other side and then dip down into the hollow, and it's only like that's the only thing there. So if you're walking down that way, you're certainly going towards the hollow, and it's very exclusive. So I think more. Yeah. It's Where do you take that? So I think it's going to cost you 1 cool as you're walking down here. Even with I think Moffat is an accepted part of the group, but still an initiate. So a lot of the older kids around are looking at both of you. I mean, Moffat actually will take one cool spend from you as well to successfully bring someone into the hollow itself that is not from your house, right?
So I just subtract a point.
Yep, from your cool,
Okay.
from your pool, not your rating, if that makes sense. So you should, yeah, I actually noticed. Yeah, so you should have the pool is the same. You start out with the same value as your rating, and then I'll start filling these out for you.
Oh, I got you. I'll do it. Yeah. I just repeat the number, and then as I use it, I drop this.
You drop that down. Yeah, exactly. So you go into the hollow. It's not like it's guarded or anything, but definitely as you walk in, a couple of the say third years look up. Third and fourth years, there's a few of them who've got the afternoon off, and they look up and kind of like look weird, but then a couple of them soften up when they see Lena coming in, because Lena's got a pretty good reputation around the academy.
I just gotta smile and wave. Like, it's a little weird she's here, but she's
Yeah.
here. Hello.
We got a guest. One of the third years, Biggie stands up and says, Hey, Lena, did you give my invite to the dance any further thought?
I'm trying to read Lena's face. Is this like, is this cool or not cool or what?
And I think Lena's like very, very quickly trying to think about how to be really nice and not like turn him down, but not like make him too hopeful or anything. And she's like, oh yeah, but I've been really busy with classes and everything, and I haven't really had a chance to think too much. Moffat had stuff. Redirection.
Yeah, I kind of nod my head. Yeah, Lena she's coming here to check out the hollow. And she doesn't have a lot of time, so we got to keep going. Thanks. And I kind of just try to move along.
Yeah, I think Biggie backs off and is like, oh, okay, well, let me know, because I'm sort of keeping it open for you. And he scampers off. You can hear the other third year snigger. What do you show? You guys look around. You notice that I think Vicky is definitely here, with a bunch of, with a couple of his mates. You notice one of them is someone on the Broomball team for Rawson. So you've also played against one of them. Do you just watch, or do you wanna? Do you guys say something?
Lena is going to immediately walk over and congratulate them on some particularly good play that she remembers that specific person doing in the last game they played against him.
Mickey?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like Mickey on how good a catching and sweeping he did. Things you do in a sport.
Yeah, that play was by the book. I was so happy. You have no idea how much I practiced to do that leg sweep to backflip combo. And I'm really lucky that I landed it. Hey, you're pretty sharp for a first year broom ball. You've been playing along.
Oh, I mean, we played at home, not competitively or anything, just like around the yard. But I got some broom practice.
Hey, not bad, not bad. I feel like this is probably a performance role if you want to like get in good with Mickey with your like is it like a I guess or athletics actually. You could also spend your athletics, which you have a lot of. It's not that difficult. I think Mickey is a fairly chill dude, but friendly guy. But I think that because he's a bit older than you, it is still hard to like get through to an older student. Yes, the difference between performance make him think I'm good at broom ball. Athletics, my guns pro. I think it's probably, yeah. It's up to you which you want to spend in this case.
So, as Lena's talking and using all the right broom ball lingo and everything, she puts her hands on her hips in such a way that you can see her awesome guns for throwing broom balls and like whacking stuff and doing like backhand springs in pursuit of broom ball.
Oh, so good. Okay, so yes, so it's going to be a difficulty 4. You have to decide how many points you want to spend and then roll 1d6. And that will, if it's above 4, then you succeeded in the contest. If it's below, then you have failed.
If it's exactly 4, is that a success?
I think it is, yes.
Okay.
Let me just check that, but I think so. Hold.
Did we have a roll for your party somewhere? I feel like I opened one and then closed it.
Yeah, we have one. I don't think anyone's rolled yet, right? Yeah. You need the link?
Yes, please.
Oh, there's somebody dropped
Oh,
it. Yeah, they dropped it.
I
Cool.
always prefer my hawks be poetic. I'm just going to spend 1 and assume that I won't roll terribly. This will be a problem.
Okay, equal to or higher. You spent 1 and rolled well?
Yeah, I got a 4,
Well done.
so I rolled a 5.
Excellent.
I mean,
Uh,
rolled a 5.
Yeah. So Mickey sees that you've got you're like really buff. And on top of that, you also have the bruises in the right spots, right? Like because right here there would be a broom bruise this way, and you can tell just by your physique that you've done hours of broom to the knee. There's a knee bruise. There's like the signs that you practice a lot. So and Mickey's played against you as well, and so he's like, yeah, actually, I got a broom right here, and tosses you one. We could do a few sweeps, couple of laps if you've got time. Not long.
I attempt to convey to Moffat, using only glances, that he should use this opportunity to take Mr. Fuzzybottom and search for dragon fruit smells.
Not a bad
idea.
idea.
Distracted.
Not a bad idea. No one's even paid
And then-
attention to me from these cool kids anyway, so it's perfect.
And then look back, because that was amazingly subtle and there's no way anyone knew that I was trying to convey a message. Be like, of course, it would be great to have someone on practice with you because you're so good.
Yeah. Oh, I think Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms needs to do a poopy. I'll be around. I'll be back. And I kind of look for Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms and yes, sniffing around for this dragon fruit.
So as you do a tri-sweep maneuver with Mickey, hard with only 2 people, but you guys make it work. What do you ask? It's pretty good. I think you need to lift your broom higher to make your form perfect.
I'll immediately fix my form according to his suggestions. Because he may be a dragon fruit thief, possibly, but he's good at broomball. I can spot that.
Yeah, looking much better. Nice, 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 nice. Wish any of our first years were as good as you. Our newest crop ain't making the team.
Well, can't have me because I already got sorted to Flynn, but...
Yeah.
And, like, waiting for an appropriate point to start saying, so what about that dragon fruit? But her intuition isn't super high, so meaning I've got nothing in it. So
yep. But he is friendly to you, right?
Awkwardly waiting a moment.
Go. Yeah. I mean, you look awkward when you're trying to think about that, as opposed to when you're playing. Like it's like, hey, we don't have to talk if you don't want to. But we could talk about the game. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about the game. I heard though, just lunch gossip and stuff, that you came across a dragon fruit, and I like herbology and everything. It would be great to just see one.
Oh, no, I hadn't seen one. I mean, like, and I think he blushes, like he goes really red. Like, I mean, it's not like I'm not dating anyone, or I'm not looking at, it's only the lovebirds that go and search for the fruit. But no, I didn't.
God, no, I'm not asking to share a lion fruit with you or anything. I mean,
okay.
I was just it would be neat to from a academic standpoint, and I'm totally just trying to BS detector. But
yeah. Would you like to spend to know exactly what the lie is?
Yes.
He's super uncomfortable, but he's definitely got a crush on someone. That part is obvious. He trips over. I think you as you poke a little bit into the story, right? Because you're like, you're not like we're sharing. I'm like, oh yeah, no, me either. I mean, academics. I also just wanted to see one, so I might have been in Lions Grove looking around and stuff, but just same as you, I have a keen interest in herbology, and I wanted to see one.
I like fuzzy fruit. I mean.
Yeah. It must be weird to see one. I honestly don't know what it looks like though. I wish I could. I mean, I wish I had one, but I don't. Though, I heard from someone that there are a couple of guys who can get you all sorts of weird things. But I mean, anyway, it's probably.
Do you know who? I mean, not that I'm in the market, but if I were in the market for weird plants, I mean, it'd be nice to know who's got weird plants.
Yeah, right. I know you're not, but if you were into weird plants, I mean, you're a first year, right? You know the big tortoise that's over by the lake at the moment, like giant one in town on its back? It's not always there. They come out for the winter around here oftentimes, but not every year. But it's hard to get in. You usually need teacher supervision. Isn't it? It's still going? Hello?
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah, we're
still
good.
on. Yeah, okay.
Just me.
Just Haley dropping off. Yeah. So I heard that there are a couple of guys in that town. You can get them in the bazaar there. So they got like big. Oh, you would love it actually. They have a broom stall that's just the best exotic brooms, but also, I mean, a couple of guys there. They say they can get stuff, but it's a little bit dodgy. And don't look, Lena. I respect you, and I think you've got a good head on your shoulders. It's not really something to get mixed up in. Not even for a guy, girl. Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't have the social skills to be smooth about this, so you're like, what? Oh, it's apology, not crushes.
Awesome.
And then go back to like trying to show off a super awesome like skate on the broom so that you can like flying kick things and then catch the broom sort of stuff.
There's like a palpable
safe.
sense of
No way
relief
could go wrong.
from both sides as that happens. And let's cross to one of our other PCs. We can see, let's see before, do we want to see Moffat next? So I think so, yeah. So let's see what Moffat does.
Yeah, Moffat's been taking Mr. Fuzzybottom around and trying to see if he can find a scent of the lion fruit anywhere. Yeah, let's find his dorm room. See if we can sniff out some fruit.
Cool.
I imagine he's nose to the ground, snuffling along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know
Maybe
where the layout of this dorm room pretty well.
Sure.
Because, I mean, you live there.
Yeah, and I imagine folks are used to seeing Fuzzy walk around these corridors.
Yeah, and it's a perfect
Probably
alibi if somebody questions me, like, what are you doing here? Like, I was just following Mr. Fuzzybottoms, you know?
As you get close to the dorm room, here's the problem. Getting into someone's private space, now that's a new thing. Getting into the like common area is fine. Getting into the private spaces, that's a bit tough. You don't have sneaking. So how are you attempting to get in?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. I have this transfiguration magic, right? I can just look like Mickey.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. I will take 1 point of spend for casting the spell. And then what we're going to do is like there's an impersonate social skill. Because now you may look like Mickey. It's but you need to act like Mickey.
Yeah, act it, and sure. Okay, so take a point off of that as well.
No, we're going to do a roll as your because the difficulty to get into the room is also 4. Yeah.
Okay, so I took a point off of transfiguration.
Yep.
And then I'm going to roll on impersonation. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm taking the transfiguration point only because casting a spell to turn yourself into someone else is quite difficult.
Yes.
It's actually very, very impressive that you're able to do this.
Sure.
It's not a first-year spell. That's interesting. How do you think you know how to do this spell?
I think that this is a spell that Berga may have taught me. The Cyclops, when I was hanging out with Berga, she like, you know, she's really close, kind of like tender and affectionate and kind of like motherly. She wanted me to be able to. I was maybe like confiding to her about how uncomfortable I am in my own way about the unibrow. So Berga taught me how to look different, and I just took it a little too far, right? Not just like making my unibrow disappear, but looking like other people, maybe people I admire or look up to. So Mickey might be somebody I think is really cool, and I want to be like Mickey, so I know how to look like him. How about that?
That's awesome. That's very good.
And now, do I still have that die from Tyler?
Yep. So you
Okay.
have +1 already. You can choose to spend more of your impersonate skill. And then you roll this
Yeah. Let's do 1 point from impersonate also. So drop that down 1. And now I have 2, right?
So, and you want to hit 4.
So I'm going to roll these 2 dice and add them up and hope I get 4 better. Is that right?
You just roll 1 die. So they're not giving you dice, they're giving you a +2.
Ah, okay, okay.
So
So
you
I've
roll
got
one-
+2 on this roll. Okay,
Yep.
got it. Let's roll them up. What did I get? Ooh, I killed it. I got a 6 + 2.
I feel like you must have been watching Mickey closely to be able to impersonate him this well.
Yeah, I was quiet the whole time, so I
It's
was just
true.
studying his features, his facial expressions, and how into Lena he seemed to be.
You get the walking look just right, and no one even blinks an eye as you walk in. Someone even gives you some notes and says, "Oi, Mick, these are the notes from Transfiguration."
Yeah,
In
I'm
this-
Mickey. That's right. And I take the notes.
And you go into his room.
Yeah. Anything in those notes about lion fruit? I'm just like looking at it now. Okay.
Nope. His room is really tidy, actually, and it's kind of surprising because his public persona is like just such a jock, but it's really neat, and you see like meticulously displayed his trophies over the years that he's won, and on his desk is like a scouting, like a letter from some scouts who are giving him some opportunities in Broomball World. It's otherwise very quiet and almost sparse in here so far.
If Mr. Hey, yeah, I don't know how I talk. Do I still talk like myself, or do I talk like Mickey?
I think
I
you
guess
have
I'll-
Mickey's voice.
Yeah, I'd say, hey, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, you smell anything?
Gym socks.
No. Sniff deeper. You get any lion fruit? No lion fruit?
Does he?
Take a deep one.
You smell lion like the leaves of the plant, but definitely 100% you can confidently say that there has never been any lion fruit in this room.
But the leaves, right?
Yeah, there's the leaves. I think you sniff out and you pull out a dirty pair of pants from 2 weeks ago that have the smell of it clearly hasn't been washed since then, but let's not judge.
Like in the pocket, maybe?
Yeah, like where it would have rubbed against a bush if you'd walk by it, kind of thing.
Is there any evidence I can take, like a little piece of the leaf, maybe?
Yeah, let's say you can for sure. So you get like in the pockets there's like a few, like a dried piece of leaf, and you collect that up.
All right. Yeah. Otherwise, nothing of note here.
But you can definitely rule out that there's never been any lion fruit in this room.
Okay. Yeah, unless there's nothing else, I kind of take a note.
You can always
What were you
look
gonna say?
around if you want. How gossipy are you? Very not.
Not really. No, I think Moffat is kind of to the point. Not very gossipy.
Yep. Yeah.
But I do one thing on the way out.
Uh-huh.
I turn one of the trophies 10 degrees off axis. Just the kind of thing a neat freak would be so fucking annoyed by when they notice it and question. That's it.
Later in the night, he's like, who's been touching these?
Yeah. So I say, yeah, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, that's what he gets for taking the dragon fruit leaf or lion fruit leaf.
Yeah. And you're like, heh, And as you're doing that, you notice on the shelf there is a book that is conscientiously marked "My Thoughts and like Feelings," and you hear the voice of Priscilla in your head. That's like, I saw this in a vision. You saw this book, and you did not open it. You knew I would be mad. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Kind of thing. Like,
Wait, is this Priscilla scolding me for not peeking at the book?
yep.
Oh,
And Haley is spending a gossip point to do so.
I think I'm gonna read it then. Too much guilt. Hold on, hold on, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom. We got something to look at here. And I kind of grab the book, and it's like maybe the two of us read it together. Probably more literate than I am.
Yeah. Oh, poor Mickey.
I'm
It's
serving as a
labeled-
lectern.
It's labeled "My Thoughts and Feelings," but it's like written out like a schedule. Like day 23, time 8:03 a.m. Meeting with Hyung Lee. And Hyung is, as gossipy Priscilla would know, is Belle's current long-term boyfriend. Meeting with Hyung, practiced 200 reps of backflip, whatever I said earlier. and as you're looking through this, there's that back sweeps, bristle flips, a good dusting. And there's like lots and lots of these meetings scheduled in over the things, and mostly they are about what they're doing, except you stumble upon one finally in a moment of weakness where Mickey's written a tiny love heart next to Hyung's name, and that's basically it. That's the only other indication that you have.
Next to whose name?
Hyung Lee, who is Belle's boyfriend.
So it's not Belle that he has the attraction to, it's her boyfriend. Ha ha. So the fruit has turned, so to speak.
So is this the kind of thing where if we have spare relationship points, we can spend them to know one of these people? Because I'm wondering if Hyung Lee is a relative of some kind.
Yes.
Yes, I'll add him to the list.
Yeah, and so I'm clear. So Mickey, according to what's written here, Mickey's interested in Hyung. Okay. But Hyung doesn't know. It's just like a kind of sort of a crush.
You're not sure if Hyung knows. It's not written anywhere in there. You know that they've met a lot by the sounds of it, based on the amount of
Okay.
work done.
So they spent time together, but beyond that, it's hard to say, right? Okay. So I might have a little bit of gossip to give Priscilla. That might give me some brownie points. Yeah, I think I've spent enough time in here. I'm gonna get out, and as soon as I'm out, like out of the room, and it's clear no one's watching, I'm back to myself again.
Awesome. Let's see what Lexi and Priscilla are doing. Are you guys together or doing separate things?
Are we going together to speak with Belle? Is that what we were thinking of doing?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but also I kind of wanted to speak to Hyung after I got that information, and I don't want to have, like, take up multiple scenes. So
you're all together. Like
we find them canoodling or whatever they're doing, and we go and interrupt.
That's a good idea, yes. I like that.
Let's see, where do I want to put them? I think you find you ask around, and people point you to where they think Belle is. Couple of the, you probably go to the Melback's house, and a lot of them are like, thank God she's not around. She's out and they point you out the castle. You find Hyung and Belle near the Warrens, where they're like on like a picnic rug, kind of just watching the water and rugging up in really like, you know, like it's a cold day, but we're warm and huddling together. And they're just watching the hair snakes slither around together. So they have the heads of hares and the body of snakes, and they act like hares.
Oh, how romantic.
I think Priscilla, like, sorry, I use your mic. I think Priscilla is not particularly close to your.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, what?
I'll mute.
I think Priscilla is not particularly close to Hyung in like a actual friend way, but like they've grown up together, and so they have that sort of like familiarity that cousins have, to the point where like immediately they have like the little picnic laid out in front of them, right, that they were eating while they're watching the hair snakes, and immediately she like sits down next to Hyung and starts like picking at his food, and she's like, "Oh, the first years can never get this. Oh, this is so good. It's almost better than grandma's. Did you make this?"
Hyung is like this really big dude who gossip says he's already been scouted for a professional team, but who knows? He's kind of like really, like he feels really uncomfortable. Like you can tell that he's like freezes up and is uncomfortable, and like he looks over at Belle, and Belle's like, "I'm sorry, you're."
Oh, hi. Sorry, I'm Priscilla. I think we met once in assembly. I'm Hyung's cousin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She looks like you're like, "What are you doing? This is a date."
We've been asked by your brother to come talk to you. Oh, we're looking into something you may have lost.
Yeah. And she totally goes into, "Hyung, just wait here a moment. I'm just gonna chat with these two. It's a silly thing. Just keep the hairs away from the sandwiches, and we'll be good. So I'll just be a moment." And she like hurries you over to like on the other side of like this Warren door, and she's like, "Okay, sorry. So I did realize. I'm so sorry. Of course, Hyung can't know because it's a surprise for him. He doesn't know I actually found it in the end."
Oh, okay.
Well,
right.
I mean, I've lost it again, of course, but still hopeful.
You seem to think one of my housemates, Mickey, had something to do with it?
It's got to be Mickey. And like she looks wistfully over at Hyung for a moment, and she's like, "Mickey's been teasing me lately and not being very nice. I mean, let's just say that the gauntlet was thrown, there was going to be a duel, like it was a big thing, and Mickey's never chilled out about it. I think he's not very open, but he keeps telling me to back off, if you know what I mean. Look, I'm certain it's him."
Oh, okay. Well, did you see him come over? I mean, I'm guessing you kept a pretty good eye on it, right?
I mean, I guess it could not be. It could be someone else, but I just don't have a lot of enemies, she says. And she's like, "Here's what happened. I was in the library, and the fruit was in the bag. And I was reading about I was reading some of the old lore about it. Then Hyun called me. I stood up. I went out for just a moment. And then when I came back, the bag was gone."
Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind that it might not be someone who's your enemy. I mean, a valuable thing could be a valuable thing to anybody.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It could, but gosh, if they the conscience that someone would have had knowing it was my bag, was very clearly labeled my bag. People know how I would react. I mean, it's just disgusting.
And you haven't told anybody else, like a prefect or a teacher, because you're keeping it a surprise?
Told some of the teachers, the ones that I are close to, but I mean, they don't think it's particularly big, and it's not really. Things come and go. Things get stolen all the time, and I guess I'm a little bit embarrassed being a prefect pointing fingers at just everyone.
Well, we're gonna look for it for you, and I'm sure we'll find it one way or the other. Now, I'm getting the impression that Priscilla knows what Moffat found.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because we've met up and heard that, or is that because she had gossipy second sight?
Yeah, I think it is a second sight thing. Like, I feel like you just had the divination, because you did a divination spend, right? So magic-y way me.
So she could hear and see what I was seeing at that point.
Yeah, I think she got flashes of what you saw and the general shape of it, if not the specific details.
Okay, so I probably don't know. We probably haven't had time for me to know that much about the crush on. So I'm still working, or even maybe the smell of the fruit that was on him, his pants. So I'm going to, well, I'm sure that there's a logical explanation, but we're gonna find it. Don't worry.
I appreciate it a lot. You guys are such good little troopers. I don't want to getting
I'll
around.
smile despite the condescension of that.
Yeah, well, she's I guess she's in year 12, so she definitely sees you as tiny children. And she's like, it's really important to me. It's so hard in my position. You just have to grin and bear it. But I'm really finding it hard to do that. I really am.
Don't worry, I'll pat her hand. We'll be little troopers and help you right out.
Do you want to do any? Are you trying to reassure her?
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing.
We could roll to that and see how reassured she is. Do you want to spend anything or just do the roll flat?
And
4.
What's the difficulty?
4.
4. I think I'm just going to do the roll. Because so far, I'm not entirely sure how much of this is snark that I'm actually doing and how much is really reassuring. So we'll see. But I got for some reason, a blue one popped up at the same time. But I got a 4 on my purple one. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whether you meant it or not, she feels reassured by your words. And she says, you know what? When you say that, I really believe that you will find it one way or another. And once I get it at the dance, when, of course, Hyung and I are king and queen, named king and queen, we're gonna share the fruits. And then she's like, blissful, happy face. I really, really love him.
That's good, because it sounds like you're going to be stuck with him for a very long time.
You'll understand someday. Thanks. And then she gives you like a hug.
Yeah, you deserve to be stuck with your high school sweetheart for the rest of your life while he's all pro sweeping.
Haley, you are staying with Hyung. He's like, don't eat all of that.
Is he? What is? Or
Mickey's year 10. Yeah, and Hyung is also in year 12. It's their last year. That's why she wants to do it, you know, like because it's the most uncertain time in a high school school. Anyway, don't need all of that.
And Priscilla's like, oh no, just chicken.
Okay, no, seriously. That honey soy wing I actually made myself. It's pretty good, isn't it? But no.
And it's just like, it's so good.
What are you doing here?
And then like she stops and like, you know, turns around to look at Hyung and gives him a big smile. And says, isn't it funny being cousins, how you always know what someone's thinking?
No.
I hear you got a little bit of love troubles.
He like pulls the front of his shirt. Who told you that?
Look, I don't reveal my sources.
Pushes you. I don't have to sit here and listen to you talk shit about me. It's just, and it like cools down. People say all sorts of things.
I'm not talking shit about you, cuz. I'm on your side. Can I spend some pool?
What are you spending? What do you want to spend? Oh, cool.
Pool, like with my relationship with him.
Yes.
Is there a certain amount I should spend?
I think spend 2. He's gonna pick up a chicken wing as well and hoe into it as well. And it's like, yeah. Look, you've been my favorite because you have the most interesting things to say out of all the cousins. But yeah, I know you also have a pretty big blabbermouth. Look, you know how I took Belle to our last family reunion, and she was like super perfect, right?
All the aunties loved her, yeah.
I sort of. How do you break up with a girl like that?
Right before exams?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then we got close, and I think she's just having none of it. Like, you're a girl.
Look, I'm 13.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
But I'll tell you one thing that Auntie told me. You're either in or you're out. There isn't any in between. Sure, she was talking about doing the cooking for the birthday party, but the same thing applies.
I just break up with her. Just do it. Like ripping off a band-aid. Like cooking for the family meal. Okay.
Those 2 things are not equally difficult. I know you can do it.
But I don't have the nerve. Why don't you roll to convince your cousin to break up with his 2-year-long relationship right before the Christmas ball, the Witchmas ball? You will roll your. Oh, you don't have negotiation. Well, how are you doing it? Flattery? I guess you can flatter him into doing it.
Or it could be
Taunt.
considered. I'd say, if anything, I'm probably. Oh. I'm probably. I don't know. Can I use flirting in the sense of other people's love lives?
How do you want to? What do you mean by that?
Like, it's my flirting senses that are helping me know how to resolve the situation.
Okay, I'll take it. Just play it out that way. How many do you want to spend?
I'll just spend 1.
Okay. difficulty 4. It's a 4. So what do you say?
Other than everything that I already said.
Yeah.
I think I say, you know how you're going to be a pro sweeper. You, when school finishes, people don't stay together. That's how it is.
I mean, they do if they have things in common. They like each other.
And then they end up like Auntie Parker and Uncle June.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up like that, do you?
They're happy. What are you talking about?
Are you serious? You can hear them shouting from the next room.
Yeah, that's how they say they loved each other. You just see, look, you're too.
Okay, don't break up.
No, you're right. I mean, I will. I'll do it.
And I think Priscilla has completely forgotten like the whole purpose of this
Yeah.
entire thing.
Before you know it, all the honey soy wings are done.
Yeah, she's just like, that was a really successful conversation.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Let's take a break to the hour. And we'll see where we go from there. I'll see you guys in 5. Hello, welcome back. So I think what we hear as, you know, in the evening after dinner, Mr. Fuzzybottom like growls and looks up towards the castle from where the Rawson house is, makes that pointer dog thing. And then we cut, and then looks confused. Like, I think he moves towards it, looks confused and stops, slows down. And then we cut to you guys the next day, probably, at your lunch table. It's not even the day that you're supposed to meet for lunch.
Working.
You're becoming friends.
Aww. And so I'm guessing we're kind of trading notes on what we've discovered.
That's what I assume.
And so after Priscilla tells, that juicy gossip about Huang, I'm like, well, that's really bad because, Belle's got this whole, we're king and queen now. Let's eat the fruit that's going to magically make us love each other right up until the, tail end of our lives when we'll just be overwhelmed with the resentment of what we've done for this loveless, magical marriage.
And I think
eyes just getting bigger and bigger, like so much cynicism in such a tiny package.
Yeah, I think Priscilla's like, that's just creepy. And I mean, like, I can see the future sometimes and it's still creepy.
Yeah, there's something wrong there. And this is only going to lead to disaster. But at the same time, if he really stole it, that's pretty bad too.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be finding what happened to the fruit.
Yeah, Priscilla.
I found
Mickey was definitely involved.
Secret. Oh, well, but he told me that there's like a secret herbology, well, not herbology, but weird plant market on the Sometimes town. But he said it was real shady and we shouldn't go there, but that's where you would go if you're trying to find a dragon fruit, which sounds
I
like
think
he knows.
I think he's definitely been there. I hold up
the. Try and, go ahead.
I just hold up that little leaf from the dragon fruit that I found in his. Look what I found in his pants, and I put that on the table.
Why were you in his pants?
Oh, not exactly like what you think. Well, Mr. Fuzzybottom found it, and then I got it.
Fuzzy kind of looks at you. Don't bring me up into this.
Yeah, Mickey's a real neat freak. His trophies are all lined up perfectly. It's kind of, yeah, it's really neat.
If he took it, and his plan is just to keep Belle from using it, you think he'd try and sell it at the market?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he actually took it. Maybe he was just involved.
Well, yeah. But I mean, if it was... Did it seem like he had it in his pocket, or do you think he just rubbed up against it?
I look at Mr. Fuzzybottom. Mr. Fuzzybottom, you didn't smell the fruit, right? Just this leaf? I don't think he had the fruit. I think he was maybe just there when it was taken. But I don't know.
He told me that he didn't take it, and it seemed like he was telling the truth about that part. And you can see Lena deflate a little because she was gonna come in with that hot gossip that he's got a crush, except that that's already been burst, and so she has no hot gossip to trade. There goes her chance at social capital. But he did say that he knew some people who knew places to get things. Maybe like he knew people who sold it, or I don't know.
Look, I mean, it's pretty valuable. Anyone who knew that Belle found it could have taken it just to sell. We should definitely go there. But it's totally out of bounds. And I can't give the principal a massage.
It's
Well,
not that sort of story.
if we all go together, we can cover for each other. Less chance of getting caught, maybe.
Isn't it the annual something something sport event? I'm sure we could slip away. Oh no, but Lena.
You want me to miss Broomball for this?
Well,
Mickey
we
said
could
I'm the
go
most
without
promising
you.
first year.
Hey,
He's really
Lena,
good, so that means something.
did you like Rarson Hall? Did you think it was cool? Because maybe this place is pretty cool too. You might not get another chance to see it. Solving this mystery is kind of fun, isn't it?
I can't just abandon the team.
We are.
What if we make it rain? Then the broomball's called off, but the other sports go ahead, and then we slip out.
Right, because you can't do broomball in the rain. It's just not safe. Brooms can't
It's
be
not
slippery.
safe. PNC said it wasn't allowed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we can definitely go to Sometimes Town.
Does anybody know any weather spells?
No, but I could find a Thunderbird.
Wow!
Priscilla, don't you know divination? Maybe you can like make a storm god help out or something.
I think a Thunderbird would be really great.
And so here we are getting a Thunderbird in place. How are you going to do that? Who has?
I have magical animals as my
Magical
rather
creatures, yeah.
yeah, magical
True.
creatures as my big thing.
Mm.
I might could go to Kuro and see if he knows where one is that would let me talk to it and try and convince it.
Yeah, I think take the spend on Kuro, and just one is fine. And Kuro almost laughs in your face, but shrugs and says, "Well, if you want it to rain, you know what you have to ride the Thunderbird or whip up the storms. If you're brave
Okay.
enough, I've got a couple of mates," and he cackles evilly. And I think we cut to you two in like on the other side of the hill. It's not often visited, and there's like it's a bunch of rocky outcroppings, and you can see there are a couple of they're like storm gray birds the size of a big-ish rowboat. They are preening themselves and otherwise like sometimes cawing, and lightning is coming out of their mouth.
Okay.
And
Sounds
Kuro's like
dangerous.
caws at you laughing and says, "All you gotta do is ride him. Go get him, cowboy."
Kuro's one of the few words I know in Japanese. It means black. And I know that because of the Kuro game. So I know where they are, but probably don't want to ride them now. We're wanting to wait until the time comes. So the question is it worthwhile for me to go ahead and talk to them and see? What do you think? Talk to them now or have it for the moment?
I think that we can their flash forward. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're flashing forwarding. This is
okay.
At the time of the sports games. It's on the the sports pitch is right around the other side of this rocky outcropping, so it's not too far off.
All right, so then I will. Excuse me. Hi. I was wondering. I've heard that Thunderbirds can make amazing storms, truly impressive things. I mean, is that true, or is that just an old wives' tale?
The closest one looks pins you with a birdie eye and goes, bah! And lightning strikes out, and Kuro laughs at you again and says, these guys, they're big and powerful, but they're also dumb.
Do I take that to mean that they're they ain't gonna talk? I can't really chat them up.
Yep.
All right. Then I suppose, yeah, it's much more of a me trying to wrangle up onto one and using my magical creatures and ride, I suppose. Ride the thing.
Moffat, are you also there doing the magical creatures thing? As you also have the oh, and then we can do a either a help or a doing it together roll, which probably isn't as worth it. Let's
see. Yeah, I've got magical creatures. So what are the choices? Either do it together or help him?
Yeah, I think I think in this case it would be more of a help.
I think so too. Yeah.
Also, but I mean, you could also I guess the question is, would Moffat want to go ride the Thunderbirds or not? Because it carries its own risks.
I wouldn't mind doing that, and that's kind of like a precursor to hopefully maybe being able to ride a unicorn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else want in on the Thunderbird riding?
I can't be there. I've got to compete in the scrying in the morning before we go.
I mean, if I'm not going to be riding brooms, I could be riding Thunderbirds, which are a lot like brooms, but with more space to do tricks. So, I'm down.
Yeah. Thunderbird with 2 sidecars.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be, now that there's 3, you can do this as what's called the piggybacking move. It'll be a riding roll probably, or a magical riding roll, and you can also spend your magical creatures for +2. I think that's how it works. Because it's a general skill, but then you have a specialization that adds more bonuses. If you have it. The way that piggybacking works is you pick who out of the 3 of you is the lead person, and they do their role, and everyone else can just spend 1 point to have the same outcome as the person leading it. Is the way that's how it works. So I mean, in this case, it sounds like it's Lexi who's leading. You've got 7 riding. I think the Thunderbirds are not particularly easy. I'm going to make them a bit harder, like a 5 to succeed.
And I'm going to spend 1 from my magical animals, which will give me a +2.
Yep. Do you want to spend any other riding?
I do. And I think I'm going to spend 2. If I spend 2, then I'll automatically make it. Does that seem cheesy, or?
Nope, I think that is
the thing to do.
Yep.
Okay. So I've spent 2.
And then everyone else can spend 1 in riding to piggyback off that as well and get that same success.
I'll do that. Oh wait, do I have riding? I do. I'll drop a point off of writing. This a quick question: this pool, does this come back at some point?
Yeah, it gets refreshed at the end of the session, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. So I don't roll. Tyler's rolling, and whatever he gets, we get that.
But it is.
And I automatically succeed.
Okay. So we're basically buying a success by spending a point.
How do you tame a Thunderbird?
I think that there's, Lexi deals with magical creatures. That's just, it's so innate to her that maybe as the two of you are there, you've seen like Fuzzy, and Fuzzy's a whole different thing. He's just grumpy and always not with us right now. But it's, you've probably gotten casual around Fuzzy. But I think that there's this, like the way she moves and the way she sort of coos. You could see him sort of relax as she gets closer. And, there's the crackle of the electricity. You could see, like, Lexi's hair kind of standing up a little bit as she gets in there with the crackle of the electricity. And she reaches forward, and one of them kind of lowers its head down. And she scratches right behind its big eyes at its ears. And it sort of gives this rumbly purr, but it's like thunder. You're a good birdie, aren't you? Yes, you are.
And it totally flips upside down and is like frolicking in the ground. We cut to a scene of the competitive scrying, and you see Priscilla looking up and says, "Tomorrow there's going to be rain." And then cuts to three of you flying in or like on the backs of these, being like, "Ew!" in the sky. Thunder is brewing, lightning is coming in, and rain pours down, bucketfuls and bucketfuls, soaking in the ground, in the pitch. Awesome. Let's probably end there for today and have you go to town next session. We'll see how that sneaking and all of that goes.
And I don't think I'm with y'all next time, but
oh no!
I think Lauren's back with y'all next time.
Okay.
The old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo. Well, Lexi will be in our hearts in the sky, if not in the sky. Someone's got to keep that storm going,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's take a couple of moments then, and I'll take us off stream and we can do debrief. All right.
Okay.
1 sec. Yep.